Leaders from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, are meeting for a summit expected to be dominated by the ongoing civil war in ASEAN member Myanmar. They're seeking to find a united stance on the crisis amid deep rifts in the bloc. China's efforts to force its claims to much of the South China Sea are also high on the agenda. Well, to tell us more about the summit, DW's Asia-Pacific Bureau Chief Georg Mattes joins us now from Jakarta. Georg, it's been 2 years now since Myanmar's military seized power and began its violent crackdown. ASEAN is still struggling to come up with a united response to that. Can we expect to see any progress there?
Exactly, Terry. It still looks like the leaders in Myanmar do not pay any respect to that 10-point consensus that ASEAN has foreseen to resolve this conflict. And also the unity inside ASEAN isn't fully there as some of the countries, for instance, Indonesia, would like to have it. Two things, I think, to look out for on this summit is the countries of Thailand and Cambodia. Thailand, which has just moved away from a pro-military government, and Cambodia, which is has still a government that is very close to the military, but has a new prime minister, Hun Manet, who's his first ASEAN summit here, and he said yesterday that he wants to push forward that peace consensus in Myanmar. So we'll have to wait and see to what extent these new political dynamics in those two countries will shift those within ASEAN.
Now, ASEAN leaders are also focusing on China's actions in the South China Sea, Georg. Those actions have angered many ASEAN countries. How's the bloc going to respond to China? Is it clear?
Yeah, the main problem here is a map that China has put out, basically claiming all of the South China Sea, and particularly Vietnam, the Philippines, but also Malaysia are absolutely not happy with that map and have rejected it. When you talk about China and ASEAN, there's always the issue of economic investment from China, which is absolutely crucial, for instance, for countries like Vietnam, on the one hand. On the other hand, all members know that only together they are strong, and so there is a clear determination to show China that there are some limits when it comes to territorial disputes like this one. So a draft communique talks about land reclamations, activities, and serious incidents that leaders are concerned about.
Now, last year, the U.S. President Joe Biden attended the ASEAN summit. He's skipping this one. Is that a sign, Georg, that ASEAN's importance is waning?
I'd say there's two ways to look at this. On the one hand, of course, you can say, ASEAN is a bit of a talking shop because of this rule of unanimity. Everyone needs to agree so that things get done. So it's a bit of a toothless tiger. On the other hand, it's not new that a U.S. president skips a summit like this one. And in fact, the United States have made clear in various ways that ASEAN is an important member, for instance, by setting up an ASEAN meeting in Washington. And also, President Joe Biden, after the G20 summit in India, will continue to travel to Vietnam. So I would say the club still remains important, but particularly Southeast Asia absolutely remains crucial for the U.S. if you look at the rivalry with China over the influence in this part of the world.
Georg, thank you very much. DW's Asia-Pacific Bureau Chief Georg Mattes.